Welcome to another episode of Call to Purpose. I'm Amy Coppola, and I'm here with Tony Riley, the author of Bright Side of Broken and owner of Olive Grove Therapy. Today we will be discussing feminine energy and the value of it.
Hello, Amy.
Hello, Tony. Growing up, I had a lot of male energy around me. I had 2 older brothers, 3 boys next door. Growing up on a farm, right, you feed the animals before you eat because you're taking care of something that can't take care of itself. Mm-hmm. And just all that feminine energy or all that masculine energy really caused me to suppress my femininity. Mm-hmm. And I think that it worked well for me in business in some aspects, but I really do feel like I lost a part of myself
in the process
through the years, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like I'm starting to have that come back, and it's refreshing. So, yeah,
love it.
Yeah,
that's so good.
Yes.
So tell us more about that, like, because I know your story, mm-hmm. and I know that you're, having the parents that you had and the brothers that you had made it extremely difficult to be yourself, like to be fully your true self.
Yep.
And it's okay to have some of those qualities, right? It's okay to be, have a masculine side, like you enjoy doing things that are maybe masculine, but then you also have another part, like the main part of you likes to be a woman, right?
Right. And unfortunately, at certain times growing up, if I was too much of a girl, right, it worked to my disadvantage. And I think that that's probably when I started to learn to suppress it, was like, if you wore a dress, you stood out from the boys, and then, that usually provoked some type of getting picked on or, something happening. Like I was in 2nd or 3rd grade, and my mom would sew for me and stuff, and she made me a really pretty, like, white, it's like a fake fur coat. But I was little, like 2nd or 3rd grade, and it was very feminine, and this little boy came up, and he pushed me in a puddle and totally wrecked my coat.
You're kidding.
Yeah, but that was like the beginning of like, don't stand out as a woman because you'll get picked on and singled out, and you'll be attacked.
Right.
In a not a physical sense, but yeah.
It's interesting to me because it, like, as you, like when I met you, you had just started your corporate ladder.
Right.
You were like right at the point where you started going
rung.
up. Yeah, the first step in the ladder of.
Yeah.
And like hearing your story now, I get why you did what you did and the choices you made and becoming, high up in corporate America.
Yeah. And, I think I may have shared this in a previous one where, Thursday afternoons, everyone would disappear. And another girl and I were like, where did everybody go? And it's, they're golfing, right? So her and I took lessons, got golf clubs, and we went and golfed. And that's how I got promoted when I was in Fort Worth.
I love that.
They get to know you. You're one of the guys. You're out on the golf course with them. And, they're like, oh, well, how about her? She's cool. Like, let's promote her, right?
Wow.
Yeah. And not to say that I didn't work hard to get to where I'm at, but it helped the social aspect, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you're very driven. It's very clear. So I know you worked for, where you are today. And,
right. I do think, like, in this conversation, right, I think back and it's like, imagine if I would have actually used my femininity in that position and didn't suppress it, right? Like, it's unfortunate that I felt that I had to do that.
That you had to do that.
Yeah.
So what are some things you feel like you missed? Like, what are some things that you would like, if you would change, what would you do?
Well, I think I've already started, right? With the coaching and being more vulnerable, doing a podcast with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that.
And
Doing things that are uncomfortable.
yes. And I'm going to probably follow in your footsteps and write a book. So, and that was you definitely being vulnerable, right? All the stories in there and everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I think I just got to a point, I feel like COVID kind of brought ourselves to this self-actualization of like, you only have so much time and life is short. And, I think it was time for me to break out and just, I can't do this anymore, right? Like I'm playing the corporate role and I'm, being one of the guys. And
Yeah.
I think I just got to a point where I'm like, I can't
do that.
I can't keep
anymore.
doing this, right? Yeah.
Well, and you've branched out a lot in the last few years.
Yes.
A lot
Yes.
of changes, a lot of really good changes.
Yeah. And I think I realized that I want to leave an impact on this earth, and I'm not going to do it working for a company that, where I was. I need to branch out on my own and embrace all aspects of myself and just move forward.
That's why I left. I mean, that's ultimately
Yeah.
why I left
Yeah.
and started my business.
Yep.
Because I wanted to help people, and I felt like I'm not helping people here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And you felt some of that too in corporate America. It's,
yeah,
you have to like play the role. And I do feel like that's what's kind of changing in the corporate world too, is people don't want to do that anymore. And they want to be themselves and have opinions and not have to just go along with it.
yes,
Yeah. Because I was in a lot of situations where you just kind of had to go along with it and go with the guys. And, my industry was pretty much male dominated. So it's, again, growing up that way all through corporate America was just being one of the guys. And I'm just, I'm excited for what's to come.
yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm excited for you.
Yeah. I do have to share one story. I went to Africa when I was in my early 30s. And I flew there, and I think we were engaged at that point. My husband was there. And I flew in, and he had a car, a driver. They picked us up. We went back to the hotel. And I was standing in the hotel room, and I could see out in Nairobi. And there were mosques and people on the street and markets and all these different places. And I was like, oh, let's go check out the city. And he's like, we're not leaving this hotel. I'm like, what?
Why?
We're in Africa. Let's go see stuff, right? And it wasn't safe as a woman for me to go see a mosque or go to the market because I'd stand out. And on safari, I found out how much I stood out, right? I told you the story about the little kids all coming up and touching me like it's, I'm different there and just stood out. But again, goes back to that feminine energy of, for me, it was bad to stand out. And that's like a real life example.
Yeah.
Just repeated through my life.
Okay, very interesting that keeps presenting itself.
Yeah, it does.
I know sometimes in life we get this repeated circumstances.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, I'm
It's a
giving you
message.
these chances to change.
Yes.
And so here, I'm giving you another
Yeah.
try.
Yes.
I'm giving you another try. I'm giving you so, sometimes people will be like, well, I end up, with the wrong guys, over and over and over. And it's like, well, what is it
Yeah.
about these guys?
Right.
What's their qualities?
Right. What's the pattern?
Yeah. What are the
Right.
qualities that you end up? And they'll say, oh, well, he, I found out he cheated or,
Yeah.
but they keep getting attracted without consciously knowing that they're getting attracted to that type so that they can learn
Right.
a lesson, whatever that lesson may be for them.
Right. Yeah.
And then once you learn the lesson,
Yeah.
you can break that. Like once you learn what you're supposed to learn, then you break that, and then
Yeah.
you.
I guess I'm supposed to learn it's okay to be a woman and put myself out
That
there, right?
reminds me of a commercial
I
from
know,
like a
right?
really long time ago. Now we're gonna date ourselves.
I I love it.
I'm a woman.
Yes. And
Whatever that was, it a perfume?
I think so. And then there's I'm a woman, hear me roar, or whatever that.
Oh, that yeah.
Yeah, whatever that song is.
Oh
Oh
gosh,
my
that's
gosh,
funny.
that's great. So yeah, I am in Africa, and it's like, oh, you're not allowed to leave the hotel, right? So I definitely want women to understand. In America, we have freedoms, and we have the ability to, have opinions and walk around and not have to wear a head covering and not have to walk however many steps behind our husband, and right, we're
Yeah.
equals.
And
And
Yeah. And I think we're learning now, well, at least I am. I'm learning now, like, how good we have it
right,
in America.
right,
We have no idea how good we have it.
yeah,
Like, we can
yeah,
choose and have an opinion and
yeah.
not have to wear a covering. And
Yeah, yeah, we have all the freedoms, and we're treated equally. And college campuses, it seems like a lot of young girls are just going with the flow and not realizing what they're protesting against or fighting for. Right? I want everyone out there to do their research. Have an open mind and have your own mind about what you're going to go after, right? We need to make sure that some of these organizations that fundamentally take away women's rights, as women, we shouldn't be supporting that role, right? So
yeah, and don't just go to one source for your information.
yes,
Also,
yes.
you need to read multiple sources.
Yes, that's my favorite saying. Everything on the internet is not true.
That's right. That's
Yes.
right. Absolutely.
Yes. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, you can get into a lot of trouble, like
yeah,
supporting certain
yeah,
things.
yes.
Oh.
One thing I want to share is in corporate, right before I left, I was at a level where I had the ability to care about the people that were underneath me and coach them and kind of nurture people, right? And it was through COVID, and it was a time when you wanted to make sure, and I know we talked about this previously, but it was a time where you wanted to make sure that everyone was okay, and then you asked about work, and it
Yes.
was, I think it brought my nurturing, excuse me, I think it brought my nurturing side out, and I think that that's my feminine side, and I really want to take that strength and use it in coaching to help nurture people to get to where they want to be, right? And that's definitely feminine. I didn't have kids, but I love watching people succeed, and I love helping people. And I think that's how I'm embracing my femininity now, is through coaching and
Call to purpose.
call to purpose. Yes.
That's why
That's why I
got you
started,
started.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize the tie until right now.
Yeah.
The
is
correlation between the feminine side
Yeah.
and the nonprofit. That's
That is
huge.
your feminine side. That's
That
pretty
is.
cool.
Yes. I know. Mind blown.
I love
Yes,
it. We
yes.
just figured something out just
Yes,
now.
we did. Yes. And then I'm
so
going to write a
cool.
book.
And you're going to write a book.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
good stuff.
Yeah.
Woo.
I hope everyone finds
Love
their
it.
femininity, because it feels good to be vulnerable and know who you are, right? And be that self-aware.
Yeah. And God created us in his perfect image.
Yeah.
So he made no mistakes
Right.
when he created
Right.
you.
Thank you. And I feel like I had to go through all that to get to this point, right? Yeah. This rings in my head is Martha Stewart didn't start
Yeah.
her empire until she was 50. And that just, it's like, it's never too late to do what you want to do and
right.
figure it out, right? So the whole DEI movement, diversity, equity, and inclusion, which is important, to embrace our differences, right?
Yes.
But I do feel that we need to keep, the woman-man difference, right? Like, there's a reason that women have babies, is we're the nurturers, we're the feminine energy, right? And
Right.
then you have the men, and I'm traditional, so I believe that a man and a woman were created equal, and there's a reason that there's a man and a woman, right? I was going to use the example from growing up, with all the male energy in my life. I was always competing. It was always a contest.
Yes.
Like, I can spit watermelon seeds further than any girl I know, because that's what my brothers taught me how to do, right? It was always a competition. Whatever we did, it was always a competition. And I think that's, in our society today, that's one thing. It's always the woman competing against the guy.
Yeah.
And,
which is crazy because we are created differently.
We are.
I mean, and I know this is another controversial subject,
Right.
but women and men in sports,
Yes.
we are physiologically different.
Yes.
We were
From a
created-
personal
we have
trainer
different
herself.
yes, yes. I mean, our lung capacity is different.
Yes.
Generally speaking.
Yeah.
Our hormones are different. And that's why, and this is another controversial subject, is when a man decides that he wants to be a woman,
Right.
they start getting hormones injected, and those hormones, it does not go well.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of
Sure,
issues
it
that
works against your natural chemistry, right?
it does. And I've seen people who have done this and have regretted doing what they did, and there's no going back now because they had some health issues after that are permanent.
Right.
After
that you
going
can't
through
reverse
these changes.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know that there have been some talk shows where people have come on and said, they did it too young, or they didn't understand everything. And
they didn't tell me this was going to happen and this was going to happen.
Yep.
So you have to really be
Yeah.
careful.
Right. Back to doing your own research and not believing everything that you're told, and actually doing the research and getting all the facts.
Yes.
Right. So.
And going back to the women and men in sports, I mean, it's been separate for a reason,
Right.
Because you're not the same,
Right.
It's just we're not physically equal.
Right.
Like, we're equal,
Yes.
but we're different.
Yes.
and that's okay.
Yeah.
And it's good.
Yeah.
We have women have a purpose,
Right.
And it's okay to, enjoy, like, oh, well, that's a man's job or that's a woman's job. It's like, that's not necessarily,
Right.
it kind of intertwines, but
Right.
God created you exactly the way you are for
Right.
a purpose.
Yeah. And I do want to add to that, right? My parents have been married almost 60 years. And my dad knows his role, and he does do the guy jobs, right? Mm-hmm. And my mom always did the mom jobs, right? She would cook and clean and do all those things. But I think part of that is understanding who you are and your roles when you come together in a marriage, a traditional marriage. And I think that probably led to their longevity of being married, is that they knew their roles, they embraced that they were a man and a woman, and they came together, and it was a stronger bond, and you have that understanding, and that's I think that's a success to marriage. And that's one of the issues probably today is, right, you don't have that. It's okay to be a woman, it's okay to be a man, and knowing and embracing that, right? Why do we want to erase your individuality of the sex that you are?
Right.
And that's a huge, wow, that kind of hit me. that it's, you should embrace it. And yeah. Not to say that traditional marriage is the only way to go, but it has worked for a very long time. And it really is symbiotic with the masculine and feminine energies brought together, right, to work together. And so I definitely want to keep feminism, the feminine energy alive and well. And at the end of the day, we need to respect masculine energy, respect feminine energy, and figure out how we can keep each and bring them together, right? And back to in the workplace, it's really important to not lose yourself and it goes along with going along with what other people are doing and not doing your research and having your own mind and taking personal responsibility. It's important to figure out who you are and embrace that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And I'll just say, when Adam was growing up, his dad passed away when Adam had just turned 8. So there was a gap there of having that masculine figure in his life.
Right.
So I'm very grateful because I've noticed that since my now husband has come into our lives,
Right.
he balances the parenting role out.
I actually see that too.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm sure you do because you've known Adam from the very beginning.
Yeah.
But it's like Adam is more confident.
Right.
He is. He's not as. He's stronger.
Right.
And not just physically stronger, but he is emotionally stronger.
Right. He's maturing into a man.
He
right?
is, and
I heard his voice changing the other day on the car.
It's getting deeper and deeper.
Yes,
it's
like cracking. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But my husband has, he even said, like my husband will even say, like, I want him to be a man.
Right.
And he has lectured me. My husband has lectured me about
stop babying
hey,
him.
yep.
I've heard that.
Yeah, like
yes.
Are you going to let him do this for, till he's in college,
Yeah.
And it's like, well, no, of course not. I know he'll grow out of it. But I understand completely what my husband is trying to do.
Right.
And I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah.
And even if I fight and my husband, no, I'm going to cry.
Aww.
I'm so grateful.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you found a good one there. God blessed you.
But,
Yeah.
But Adam is like, now he's like a perfect balance. Like he is very nurturing.
Yep.
And he's also, he's becoming manly as well.
Yep.
And, he's going to, whoever the woman he marries, she's
a
one
very lucky
girl.
woman. Yes.
That's right.
I agree.
That's right.
Yes.
So,
yes. Sweetest child ever.
Yes. But now, Adam has all these responsibilities and he's becoming a man. And it's just really, really cool to watch.
It's fun to watch. Yeah.
It is.
It really is.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, that wraps up our discussion today. If you'd like to connect with us or are interested in meeting one of our life coaches, visit our website, yourcalltopurpose.com. We'll see you on the next episode. Thank you.